Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. It's been a rough couple of weeks for Sony out there. The PlayStation owner and developer out there is one of those companies that, well, we had saw what happened with Concord, which turned into an absolute disastrous dumpster fire. A game that spent 8 years in development and reported $250 million gets shut down after 10 days. An absolute abysmal failure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Sony's next big push out there was none other than the PlayStation 5 Pro, and with a price tag of $700. Yes, $700, ladies and gentlemen. There's no disc drive, there's no upright stand, and apparently it might not even come with an actual controller either. Yes, needless to say, fans are not happy. It's another big loss for Sony, and that's exactly what we're here to talk about, because this is absolutely hilarious. And talk about not being able to read the room. Talk about not being able to read the culture and what is currently going on. With inflation absolutely out of control right now, wages not even coming close to keeping up with it, they think it's a good time. While the game industry is, the game fans out there, the game players and all of the super fans out there are out there constantly complaining about the outrageous price tag attached to video games these years, i.e. Star Wars Outlaw, that would cost you $130 to actually get the full game, and that turned into an abysmal flop. You'd think they would know better, but clearly we have to teach them this lesson once again, that the fans, the audience, the gamers, and the customers are the ones who decide what is success and what is a failure, and it looks like PlayStation 5 Pro is going to be a giant flop for Sony, and I cannot wait to see what kind of discounts they have on these next year. So we're going to check out this article from thegamer.com. We're also going to jump over to the actual YouTube video announcing this, pointing out and showing you exactly how much all of the fans are displeased with this announcement and how much of an abysmal failure this is going to be. But before we do, and also what kind of spin is already out there from none other than our friends over at IGN as well. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, because boys and girls, we are grinding, we are growing, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Let us know what you think about this. Is the PlayStation 5 Pro way outrageous on the price, or is this something you're actually considering out there? Because you know what? You've just got money to burn like so many, like so few of the rest of us out there. So from thegamer.com, PlayStation fans are furious over the PS5's Pro's price. PlayStation finally lifted the lid on the open secret that is the PS5 Pro earlier today. Yeah, everybody's been hearing leaks and rumors about this thing forever, giving us a first proper look at the console and a rundown of what it's capable of. It certainly seems like an impressive, albeit pretty pointless piece of tech, and a lot of people who were poised before its announcement for a whopping hit to the wallet. However, PlayStation has undoubtedly dropped the ball. Right at the end of the PS5 Pro's announcement stream, it was revealed that the PS5 Pro will set you back an astonishing $700 or £700, a price that is now being mocked relentlessly on social media by angry fans. Angry PlayStation fans. Almost every single discussion you can find about the PS5 Pro is filled with players baffled as to how PlayStation thinks it can get away with this pricey next-gen refresh despite having barely any games that will take advantage of it. And that was one of the complaints that was about the PlayStation 5 to begin with. There wasn't enough exclusive console games for it to even make it worth going out there for. There wasn't some great launch at the title that everybody was just dying to get, like some great God of War franchise or some of the stuff we've seen in the past with like Far Cry and other things like that. There was none of that going along with it. And even like, what is it? The Spider-Man edition that they launched with that one? Even then, that's just like an upgraded version of the game that they released for the PlayStation 4, because they released that title on both ones. So literally, PlayStation 5 and all of this kind of stuff has not been going very well for Sony in any way, shape, or form. And now with something like this, they've literally just blown their own foot off, because this is a very, very bad idea. So this post by Reddit Tiburtzer27, which you can find embedded above, which if for some reason, this one right here. Yeah, the Reddit. Welcome to PlayStation 5 Pro, the most visually impressive way to play games on PlayStation. This was the initial post out there. Well, needless to say, the replies aren't happy. Racking up almost 10,000 comments at the time of writing, most of them are extremely negative. People like user Jack Andrew Thorne bemoan the lack of outstanding first-party console exclusive games in the pipeline, expressing their disappointment with PlayStation's recent shift to live service games, i.e. Concord, and how much of a disastrous dumpster fire that turned out to be. Meanwhile, a lot of people are also furious about the fact that this is a price of a machine without a disk drive. Such as Surfing Style, who criticizes the company for not adding a disk and making people pay more. Yeah, you literally have to pay extra in order to be able to play any of your physical media games that you have already purchased on this new system. It's absolutely insane. The PlayStation 5 Pro's reveal trailer already has over 10,000 dislikes. Now, this article was written 17 hours ago at the time of this recording, boys and girls. In fact, you only need to go as far as PlayStation 5's Pro announcement trailer to find legions of angry fangs, as the trailer is currently sat at a whopping 107,000 dislikes and growing. It's also amassed a similar massive amount of comments, and most of them extremely negative and furious about the same thing as those in Reddit. And boys and girls, it's gotten so much worse than that. 107,000 dislikes? No, as our dear sweet stuttering Craig out here posts on Twitter, the PS5 announcement isn't going so well. 184,000 dislikes. But boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and this was just at 9:05 a.m., just a few hours before recording this video, and it has now already gotten so much worse. It is at almost 200,000 dislikes, 195,000. Let's refresh. Let's see if it's going. We'll refresh it live. Let's see if it's gotten any worse. 196,000 dislikes already, just in the time it took me to start this video, get all of the stuff pulled up, and record it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is insane. And of course, Sony knows the kind of backlash that they've got from this already just within the first 24 hours, because the spin is already in over at IGN, because they write an article over here talking about how PS5's Pro's price compares with other launches console. Is it truly that much of a monster? They literally try to go out there and argue that inflation, which is something that apparently now IGN all of a sudden realizes actually exists, but anybody that's paying attention to our bank account and the price of food at the grocery store knows exactly that this has been huge inflation for a very long time. So they try to go out there and point out that actually the PlayStation 3 was more expensive back in the day because of the price tag that it came out with. Well, this is something that they don't mention. Back then, wages were actually keeping pace with inflation. So the price budget, although it was outrageous at the time and did get a lot of flack, was not nearly as unsurmountable as people warned. And then honestly, people just waited until it ended up on the second-hand market to get that PlayStation 3, which is what I did, and definitely did not pay that outrageous bucket price. But like I said, the spin is already in. Sony is also out here already saying that they're going to resell refurbished PS5s for half the price of the PS Pro. But once again, this is a diskless, i.e. diskless system out there, boys and girls. Even this one is the digital edition out there. So what do the fans have to say after 196,000 dislikes in just 24 hours? Well, I think you probably already know. Pluto states $700 is crazy. Bread Boy here over here, not sure what Sony is smoking, having the top tier console not have a disc drive. Insane. $700, no disc drive, no stand. Incredible. No disc drive, no buy. PS6 follows this mantra, then I'll just keep my current PlayStation and reminisce, because yes, this is what's going on. We have seen this time and time again. Inside the mainstream legacy corporate institutions out there, they have been trying to erase physical media over and over again. Why? Because it makes it easier to censor things if it's all digital, because they can slip right into your account and do whatever they want to it. Just like all of those folks that bought Concord digitally, got their refunds and had it deleted from their hard drives. They did not choose to do this. Sony went inside of their PlayStation and deleted it for them, boys and girls. Trust me, this is the goal. No, actually, $700 for no stand or disc drive is just insane. $700 console, $30 stand, $80 disc drive. PS3 era expensive all over again. Once again, they haven't learned their lesson. Sony, you're incredibly greedy. The PS5 was 450 pounds at launch. How can you possibly justify $800 for the PS5 Pro? And actually, when you convert it to American dollars, you actually compare the inflation rate to what it would cost in America versus what it would cost in the United Kingdom. It's actually more expensive in the United Kingdom than it would be if they ordered it in American dollars from the United States. Isn't that crazy? I like this. Jay says the PS6 is sold without a controller and the PS7 is sold in a bundle so you can assemble it yourself. Did Sony get possessed by Apple? 800 pounds for a digital-only console without even a stand. Play has no limits. Pretty sure $900 is a pretty big limit for most people from Sony. Don't buy it for the price, people, please. $700. Can't believe Sony charges over and over Oh, the benefits of console PC. No disk drive and $700 is a crime. Over and over and over. And then, of course, people pointing out the likes. This is what happens when you can't read the room. When you're a corporation that has gotten so big that you no longer have any direct connection to your audience and to your customer base anymore. If they were in contact and in touch with the mainstream gaming audience out there, Concord would have never existed. Concord would have never gotten released to begin with. They think they would have learned at this point to read the room and understand where gamers at a time right now are crying out against the outrageous price that games continue to get to higher and higher with all of this bonus content, all this unlocking stuff, and broken and buggy games for $130. People are not working out. That's why you see the success of things like Power World and Helldivers and all the rest of these other, like, from smaller studios games that are charging you $30-40 for a game that is absolutely amazing, that is fun. They tell you it's not completely and totally complete, but they constantly work on giving you updates and giving you new stuff. And guess what? They don't charge you for DLC like these other major corporations out there that will charge you $80 for a game only to sell you DLC later down the road. Needless to say, PlayStation fans are not happy in any way, shape, or form. And as a guy that is since my Sega days, have primarily only owned PlayStations, this is a huge mistake. I don't own a PlayStation 5. My PlayStation 4's disk drive finally went out on me. I don't know if it's ever going to be working again. Shout out to Alec Baldwin's finger, who will, fortunately enough, hook me up with an absolutely incredible meta PC out there that I'm able to game and bring all these kind of wonderful things to you as well. The absolute insanity that Sony would put out a $700 price tag on this thing. You could literally save up another $300 or less. You could actually, for less, build yourself your own PC that will operate as good, if not better, than what this PS5 Pro claims it will be able to pull off. And that's the other at the end of the day. We have seen these companies say that things will happen the way they happen. It's going to be so great. It's going to be so wonderful. And then when it actually comes out, we see the miserable failure. Well, guess what, Sony? The fans, the audience, and the gamers out there have spoken. This is a huge mistake. This is going to end up being another flop on your hands and just another disastrous dumpster fire. And no matter how much IGN tries to spin it for you, the fans have spoken. The PlayStation 5 Pro will fail, and Sony, you did it to yourself, and you're going to get exactly what you deserve. The audience has spoken.